Here we go, here we go, here we go, here we go. It is Markets in the Morning. Let's go. Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is the Blockchain Backer, bringing you the latest cryptocurrency news and analysis. Welcome to Markets in the Morning. Today is Friday. Let's go. Friday, November 10th, 2023. This is Markets in the Morning, where we take a look at the price action of the Bitcoin price chart and the altcoin market, along with the stock market, as the stock market gets set to open up in 3 minutes from right now. Take, of course, a look over there at other various altcoins. We'll take a look at the US dollar currency index and gold, see how that's going over there, just kind of get a broad idea of what markets are looking like as we get ready to open. We'll check, of course, with any type of financial news or any type of crypto news as we get our day started. As we can see over here, Bitcoin still holding that $37,000 price level that we were able to break into yesterday after a violent backtest right after Markets in the Morning had ended. Price is still continuing to hold in there, still continuing that march, and we'll see if things can keep on ramping up. If you caught yesterday's video, 38K, that was the first area of concern and retracements that we've talked about for the last couple of years. So we'll see if we can keep marching right on through there. Looking over there at the 2016 price behavior, I'm going to put together another video that even this thing actually says the same thing of retracement levels like we talked about yesterday. Lots of discussion out there. The higher we go, of course, the more people want to hear that Bitcoin's in a bull run. Put together yesterday, just really talking about those retracements, which has been what I've talked about all last 2 years. Retracements. And a lot of wrong footing happening in the market with a lot of people thinking we're going to 23K, 20K, 16K, and of course the infamous 12K. Now that idea of going to 12K is being abandoned in that they've been left behind. So now the thing is, okay, well, does that mean we're in a bull run now? Or does it mean I've missed the entire move and that the move's almost done and then we're going to drift down for, quite some time? So that's just kind of where we're at. We're kind of getting near those retracement levels and starting to have to kind of pay attention to those things. The interesting thing that happened yesterday, if you caught it, some news came out yesterday. So this is the total market cap. We've been watching Wyckoff accumulation over here on the total market cap. Yesterday, we did exceed through the preliminary support. I'm going to throw everything back here on the screen. We've, of course, been talking about this for some time. You guys have definitely seen this. Trying to work on our sign of strength right now to get a breakout to end up going in there. Yesterday, after Markets in the Morning ended, there was like a violent backtest that happened throughout the crypto market. And what was very interesting about that is just where it pulled back down to. Let me swipe us over to like the 8-hour time frame so you can actually see that candle. I showed this in the video that I put out yesterday, right? So here's the peak of preliminary support right over here. And here's this move that happens yesterday, right? We get our big breakout happening in here and boom, violently come back and back test it right here. No hourly candles closed below it. And then now it's just been continuing to hold itself in throughout here up until now. But what was real interesting too in yesterday's, like the end of Markets in the Morning, it was like it just happened to end right before things got crazy. But we saw Ethereum get a breakout right there at the end. We saw Ethereum get to like $2,040 during the live stream, and it was real interesting. Let me overlay Ethereum. We'll take a look at that too. Here we go. So Bitcoin like kind of gets to its peak, right? And then Ethereum goes into the breakout at the peak, but Ethereum kind of maintains its strength and doesn't do this big pullback. See, like Bitcoin pulls all the way back down below these prices right in here. An equivalent pullback for Ethereum would have taken it all the way back down here, right? Below that area. But Ethereum still maintains it and continues to march up. We get the back test here on top of the preliminary support. Well, now this is all wonky now that I have it like that. Okay. Here's the preliminary support, right? Here's the back test right on here, and we hold on top of it. And then I mentioned in the video that I put yesterday, I'm like, is something happening? It feels like the behavior of that, of what just occurred, was very bizarre, and that it might have meant something. And then, we get all the testing on top of the preliminary support, right? This is the 1 minute candles we're looking at right here. And then insert El Nuzo, if I can bring that in here. Right. Like this market, man, you got to love it sometimes. Here you go. Get it a little bit closer. Put it right underneath there. And we go like that. And where are you? There we go. Then insert news. BlackRock Ethereum ETF confirmed in a NASDAQ filing. Somebody know something? So pretty interesting to see that happen there, right? So we got lots of like good technical things that happened in here. And then, like the magical unicorn fairy dust, or the puppet masters pulling the puppet strings, come in and do their magic in here. When we already saw some interesting phenomenons happening here in the dynamic between Ethereum and Bitcoin, as if this was the marker of the end of Bitcoin swallowing stuff from Ethereum, because that's just a big dynamic shift, right? These things really just act super in line with each other, even to the minute, right? And then it was like, wait, that was slightly different. There was something bizarre that happened right here. I mentioned it in the video, being like, we'll see if something's different about this. And then, here you go later in the day and you get the BlackRock Ethereum ETF confirmed in NASDAQ filing. So very interesting to see that. Now that correlation has regained itself, but boy, what an interesting thing. And so Ethereum currently sitting still at $2,073 right now. I guess it did get to 2040 yesterday. So either way, pretty interesting stuff over there for Ethereum. But at the exact same time, I really wanted to show you here that violent move that happened yesterday was a backtest on top of the preliminary support. There you go. There it is. But I've tried to put out videos this week, and I'll just touch topics on it too. Just kind of like even on Monday when things got super excited for XRP and the price got up to like 71, 72 cents. My wife had asked me, she's like, you don't seem that excited that it's there. And I come on the live stream, I tell that story, and I'm like, well, whenever we end up getting these types of things, when everybody gets super euphoric and super excited, then, that's usually a marker of we're pulling back. And then I've made videos talking about bigger time frame stuff and zooming out. And the hard part about these times is this market is now an emotional nightmare, an emotional train wreck. So everybody's in this must go up every single day. And anything like this, you watch the emotions, Twitter is just a wonderful place. If you don't have Twitter, like I'm like the biggest advocate for it, because you get to watch the emotional train wreck live over there on Twitter, of how emotional people are right now. And that's why I keep kind of like doing zoomed out stuff right now and focusing more on that, focusing on, retracements, focusing on bigger time frame stuff. Because sure, it's great when everything goes up, but I've mentioned this in Markets in the Morning. There is dopamine, that people are freebasing dopamine right now. They are getting high as can possibly be on dopamine with prices going up. So when things go down, they're crashing off their drug hard. And this is the emotional management part. It's not just about when prices are going down, keeping a level head. It's when things are going up. If you are getting ridiculously high on the dopamine being released in your brain, you are going to crash terribly, terribly. So just, kind of put yourself into check. My voice is choppy. Let's see if I get a little bit closer to this. Does this sound any better, or is it still just? Some people say I'm fine. Sounds good to me. Okay, if it's on your end and you hear choppiness, only half the people are. Probably restart the YouTube app. Nothing was wrong with your voice. Okay, cool. Yeah, it's your app. Refresh. If it's choppy, refresh your app. All right, there we go. Back test ended up happening in there. Still holding itself currently right now. As for the stock market's having a little bit of a better day this morning coming off of yesterday. So yesterday, I can't remember what it was like when it opened. I think it opened better. Sorry, I'm reading the chat right now. Somebody said they restarted the app and it's all good. There you go. Okay, there you go. All right, so looking at the stock market a little bit better today. Dow ended up falling about 220 points yesterday. We saw yields start to move their way up. Got to hear a nice F-bomb get dropped by Jerome Powell yesterday when, once again, more climate change activists show up to a Fed speech. But either way, market recovering a little bit today. You could see mostly green over here. Again, Coinbase leading the way. Everybody panicked about crypto pullbacks. The market didn't care. Coinbase still continues to march its way up higher. U.S. dollar currency index has been in a little bit of a march these last few days. Still holding in here, right? Lower lows. We'll see if this thing can roll itself over and continue down. My thoughts have been on this thing, even if this is a full-blown reversal. What we talk about is like ABCs to pull your way back down, and don't pay attention to where these are. More along those lines, right? And then eventually a bigger reversal in the DXY. But as for gold totally, after 3 weeks of it's cruising right back up to those retracement levels, then stalling out and the stock market coming back. So that washing machine between gold and the stock market continues to rage on. Neither one of them willing to break up or break down from their ranges. They're both just washing machining like crazy. Looking over here back to crypto, looking at like the safety trade dominance again stalled out like we talked about in here, probably gonna be stalled here for just a moment. And when I say just a moment, like if we used time ratios of how long this was, and I'm not predicting time ratios, I'm trying to just give you an idea based on how fast it's been moving and continuing to move. If it moved at that same velocity and continued to, you'd be looking at probably being chilled out for about 2 weeks in here before another like exciting phase came market wide for the whole market in there. Ethereum, of course, getting back to the top of the range, happening with news. We'll see if that gets itself its breakout. It still hasn't yet. It's still underneath preliminary support over here. Ethereum did not get the breakout just yet. Still stuck. See if it gets its chance too. XRP still in the pullback. The one I think this is going to be what my video is going to be about today. How many comments? I talk about dopamine hits, right? We go up 40% in a week and a half, and then stall. And then how many comments? But what about XRP? Why is XRP not going? And I think we have to do a refresher because it's been a long time to show the movements of XRP in relation to the whole market. I do think people get sold a bag of lies in regards to how XRP moves, what it's going to be. The Federal Reserve is going to buy back your XRP. I think there's just misinformation that creates a lot of clickbait. But I'm going to put together a video today. We're going to look at XRP's price movements and how they happen in relation to Bitcoin and how they happen in relation to the rest of the market. Because when you get those comments of being like, what about XRP? Why isn't XRP going? I do believe those must be brand new people to the market. If you are a veteran in the market and you're asking that, then you have learned nothing in years, nothing. But otherwise, maybe just maybe a lack of understanding. It's very clear that XRP moves with the market, and that no news, no stories, no Ripple IPO, buy some Ripple stock is gonna be the thing that triggers this. It's when the whole market is experiencing liquidity, and we could see, and I'll put together more discussions of this in an actual video today, that if you're crying because we went up 40% and then Bitcoin moved up 5% and XRP pulled back, if that's torturing you right now, you haven't even come close to seeing torture in XRP ever, not once. You're a spoiled brat, very spoiled brat. Like for example, back here, This is where Bitcoin goes all the way back to its all-time highs. Here's XRP, right? There's the all-time high from 2013. There's XRP. So we'll be going through more stuff like that in a video today to just kind of like reiterate how prices move in this market. It's a big rotation that happens in this market. One thing goes and the next thing goes. Right now, we're beyond. I do believe we're beyond price capitulation. We're beyond time-based capitulation, right? Time-based capitulation all happened throughout here, right? Where the whole market. Yeah, let me hide everything there. Why are you not hidden? Oh, there we go. There. Time-based capitulation, just, a year and a half of just going here. This is the crossing the desert phase. This is the brutal part. That's where your time-based capitulation comes. Now comes your jealousy capitulation, where you have some of them starting to move. You have bigger movers happening. And then since you haven't seen that in so long, you look to stuff and you say, I'm dumping my bag and I'm going to go get into that one thing that is up. Right? So that's where we're at. So people are capitulating emotionally. You're feeling a new emotion that you haven't felt in quite some time, where you own something and you see something else move, and that is driving you mad. Normal. But know that is how you, once again, sell bottoms and buy tops. It's just how it all works. You see something pumping, you dump your bag that's low, and then you go chase the thing that's high. The thing that's high stops because you bought the top of it, and then the thing that you sold that was low starts pumping. And that's just kind of how the market rotates and keeps going and everything. And we enter like in these big phases where like everything is going, but they're spread out by days and weeks with each other. But we're in this multi-month period, everything is going. But day to day, watching one thing go creates this sense of pain. And this is just from years of experience. This is going through the 2017 bull run, seeing both those alt seasons, going through 2018, 2019, 2020, 2021, 2022, 2023. I've seen a lot of it. I've learned how to fight against a lot of those emotions myself. After being a victim of those emotions, right? Like playing into those emotions a lot in my earlier years. And I know that a lot of people are starting to go through that once we're finally seeing some green on the board, man. You're seeing things like Chainlink move, and you're seeing things like Solana move, and it's creating this sense of, why isn't mine going? Just remember, the whole market moves together, and it's a big rotational thing, and we'll go through that in the video today. So, all right. There we go. I think we've kind of covered it all. Bitcoin is still holding $37,000. The stock market doing slightly better today after a pretty big pull down midday yesterday as well. Dow Jones up 110 points, NASDAQ up 110 points, and the S&P is up 19 points. So about 0.75% for the NASDAQ, 1/3% for the Dow, and about 0.5% for the S&P. And look at that, we got the whole thing almost green over here. And then went down as United Health. You got Coinbase leading the way, followed by Nvidia, Tesla, and Roblox. Go Roblox, adopt me. All right, DXY still holding itself. Ethereum had the news today that, of course, comes along with being at this phase right in here for some news to come in and everybody to say, it's the news that is pumping price. Yeah, it totally wasn't the fact that the total market cap broke above preliminary support earlier that day. Had nothing to do with that. It's totally news related. But that's what retail needs, right? And if you don't know that, the big money plants news to trap you. It's just the way it is. They do it at the bottom. They do it at the top. It's not coincidence when things happen like that. They're there to trap you. And I made a wonderful tweet yesterday. Because I don't mind stirring the pot when we're questioning like silly narratives, right? My tweet was regarding financial products. Hold on one second. I'm going to read something. I found a brief mention. Perfect. On 10.4. Somebody did find it. XRP bits, you say that you found the mention of the 618 for the Dow Jones on 10.4. So I'll check that out. It says it's at the 55-minute and 55-second. It's quick, but it's there. I do remember recording it, and I remember saying being wary if the crypto market is pumping into that moment. So if that's the clip where I said that too, somebody else did say it was in the members stream, so I'll check that one too. Okay. Anyway, news plants happens all the time. I was talking about financial products, right? Everybody's narrative right now is ETF for Bitcoin. That is the we've moved on from the inflation hedge narrative or store of value because inflation has been going down. So we can't sit there and say, well, Bitcoin's going to go down because inflation's going down. We have to move on to a new narrative. And our new narrative is ETF, right? And so if you look back, like again, like saying, being here in 2017, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, and 23, I've seen financial products get released for Bitcoin. The Bitcoin futures were released there in 2017. The literal top, the CME Bitcoin futures marked the literal top of Bitcoin. Then, you had the Canadian Bitcoin spot ETF released there in 2021 into the top. You had Coinbase IPO the day of the literal top. You had the ProShares Bitcoin ETF released at the literal top in November. And then you had the ProShares Short ETF released at the bottom in June, right? So there's no track record to indicate that a release of a financial product for retail investors marks a continuation higher. And so if you present that idea, the thing that you do get the pushback with is, well, they're salesmen, right? There's financial advisors and salesmen, and they're going to be compensated to get retail to buy the ETF. So they'll be picking up the phone, they'll be calling them and telling them, hey, you got to get this Bitcoin thing, right? And that's our bull thesis. That is the Bitcoin bull thesis. What other narrative is there, right? There's nothing. It is ETF, ETF, ETF. The carrot continues to dangle. As I mentioned 6 months ago, the carrot continues to dangle, and here we are without an ETF still to this day. But when it does get released, I don't mind pushing it back against the mass narrative that everybody has, because they're always wrong. Always. When has retail been right as a collective group? Never. They literally are always wrong. So we have to take that into account and say, hey, they all think that the release of the ETF is super bullish. Now, what might happen is like we grind our way all the way up to the retracement levels. ETFs get approved. There's like a pump there, a euphoric ending, and lights out. That's the end, right? So keep that in mind. And I talked about that in yesterday's video too. But I poked and prodded about that over there on Twitter yesterday. I was laying in bed, just feeling like stirring the pot and letting the world burn on Twitter. Why not? All right, there you go. Bitcoin, $37,000. Come a long way, man. Remember 16K? We're going to 12. All right, yep, still continuing along in here. Total market cap, that was a back test of the preliminary support breakout. So we'll see if we can get a continuation on that. XRP, oh yeah, we didn't talk about XRP. There you go, XRP pulling back in here, right? So I'm not going to go into too detail with this. You guys should have seen this in markets in the morning. We only have 2,300 people today, so emotions are just in the gutter, right? This is our normal number. This is our normal stuff. 1,500 to 2,000 is the normal viewership of this show. But we just got to watch it. Remember that, guys. You guys have the alpha. So those 4,000 people, they didn't come back, right? They're like, I'm done. I'm done. But you guys who stuck around and so are like the regulars every day got to see that. And that marked that peak right there when that viewership skyrocketed and those emotions were really high. So remember that next time. Remember it next time. Now we're back to almost normal levels, right? So I'm not going to go into too much detail on this stuff in here. We talked all about this. Like that was the news event that happened with XRP being declared not a security. We've discussed the idea of, like, hey, look, what if we just look like the rest of the whole market, right? What if this is all we've been doing the whole time? We have an anomaly. We have price shoot out there, but what was the missing element of the market at the time? The missing element was Bitcoin. It was liquidity flooding into the market. The most unsexily thing that you can say is, people want the narrative. They want the story to go with it. But the reality is it's just liquidity flows in the whole cryptocurrency market. And so then, earlier this week, obviously getting the breakout, right? So now seeing, hey, can we hold on top of there? If we don't hold on top of there, the next level I'd be looking for is really just back down here. If we just make a horizontal support in here of where we've been. I'll show you this real quick. Right, so horizontal support in here, pretending that doesn't exist, and we're not accounting for this one wick to create a diagonal line, but creating an actual horizontal support in here. The reason I say that is, going back and looking at this thing, we know we're at the time period of where we would be getting out of here, and that we would be like right in there at this point currently right now if that was the case, right? But we can inspect to see what was happening in here at this time. And this was back testing a horizontal support, right? There you go. There was your horizontal support occurring in there. And this was building support and confirming it as support. Because we do know our attempt to check that as horizontal support was an utter failure during the liquidation event that took place back there on August 17th. So if we don't hold here in the 62s, my thoughts are, hey, we're probably going back to the 55s. And hopefully if we go back to the 55s, we can confirm ourselves as a horizontal support of escaping a range with a false breakout that took place there on the news-driven event of a 4-hour 100% pump, unsustainable. Hopefully we can confirm it as some real support right now. But as of right now, it's just chilling. It's just waiting. And I know everybody wants it to go right now. Must go right now because we're very caught in the day-to-day emotionally right now, coming down off the dopamine. And that's just not how it's going to work. Whenever you feel real high, you're usually gonna come back down. So we'll keep an eye on it, but I'll put out an XRP related video today and we'll discuss it even more. So, all right, Dow, how you doing? Up 90 points, NASDAQ up 125. So NASDAQ's doing a little bit better than Dow. Coinbase still leading the way this morning. Chainlink still doing okay, still holding up. Obviously took that knockback there yesterday, but still holding up okay. Solana doing a little bit better, now at $50 over there for Solana. These were the two that I sold 50% of right there. A cheer for them to rock, a cheer for them to go. If I obviously will benefit more by them going up than going down. So a cheer for it. But I made it pretty vocal yesterday. Hey, that's I took some off the table on those guys right there. As for financial news, I haven't seen anything huge going on out there in financial news today. S&P 500 futures are a little changed on Friday after a higher bond yield spurred the sell-off. Kramer says innovation and self-help allow stocks to resist the pull of the bond market. Okay, Kramer. Ron Barron says he's amazingly bullish on stocks despite geopolitical turmoil around the world. Biden is to meet Z on Wednesday in San Francisco Bay Area. ICBC, the world's biggest bank, is hit by a cyber attack that reportedly disrupted treasury markets. I think Bolognax got hacked today. I think they lost a few million today. Justin Sun's posting about that. All right. World's biggest bank forced to trade via a USB stick after hack. U.S. futures gain as traders look past hawkish talk. Markets wrap. I guess maybe maybe Jerome Powell had said some hawkish stuff yesterday. That's where I got people kind of riled up. Mark Mobius got the markets riled up. All right, I don't see anything great in here. CoinDesk, what you got? Michael, this is huge, of course, over there on Twitter. Michael Saylor's massive Bitcoin bet crosses $1 billion in unrealized profit. Holy cow! That bro is up like 6%. Bitcoin is the greatest thing that has ever happened in the entire world. In 3.5 years, I've made 6%. There is no second best. Yes, I have loans that I've had to pay 6% interest on for the last 3 years, but still, there is no second best. Okay. There you go. That's it. That is it for the day. So we have some green in the market. We have some red. The average, just kind of a mix in here. Bitcoin's up a little bit. Total market cap's up a little bit after bouncing off that preliminary support. Hopefully we hold it and get a big old catapult to the upside. Otherwise, happy Friday, you guys. Making it through the week. Overall, a net good week for the cryptocurrency market. I believe a net good week for XRP too, right? I think people just got so euphoric, right? No, I guess not. It was Monday where we had all the chaos, right? Monday's where stuff got wild. So we ended last week at 65. We're currently at 64. Ethereum's had the better week. Don't tell an XRP holder that. but it has, right? Looking at the total market cap too, I think this has been a decent one as well. There you go. That's the one. That's the breakout candle. So hold that through Sunday, I think is the idea. Hold it through. Hold 1.335 trillion through Sunday's close. And there we go. Random note. I'm pretty proud of myself. I'll share a personal victory on the channel. I'm very much into exercise. But one of the things that has happened ever since the time changed 6 months ago is I really fell off the wagon of going early in the morning. And it had been more incorporated into my lunchtime is when I was going to be going to the gym. And, I don't know, maybe subconsciously that impacted the number of videos getting put out by knowing that I had to go to the gym at lunch, get markets in the morning done, try to get a video done, but knowing that I had this thing that I had to take care of and maybe impacting whether or not a video gets out or not. But with this time change, I have incorporated it into getting my 5 a.m. Workouts done every day. So I didn't miss a single day. 6 days in a row. We're good. And we've gotten a lot of videos out. So that's been good. The time changed back. And that, I've been waking up at 3:30 every morning and just taking advantage of that. So I don't know. I hope you guys have enjoyed the time change this week. It's always a little easier. It's always weird in the afternoon though, right? When things get darker a little bit earlier. Pick the kids up. Kids are all tired. You're late. It's nighttime. I'm like, no, not really. So, all right, there we go. Let's go ahead and hop into the chat. Michael J. Love, thank you guys. You were pre-start of the stream. I appreciate it, man. Andy Philpott also had gifted a BCB membership prior to the stream. And Oscar, thank you guys. I appreciate and if you got hooked up, there you go. Michael J. Love, hitting the like button. It's free. Thank you, Michael. That's right. Number one way to support the channel, hit the like button. Travis Hutchinson gifted a BCB membership. Thank you very much. And Pat, dude. What? Okay, thank you, Pat. Man, he gifted 20. If your name's not green in the chat, I don't know how. Wow, thank you, Pat. Duara Consciousness Foundation gifted a membership as well. Thank you. Jeez, and then Rida's World gifted 5. You guys are nuts. Look at that. There's been 53 gifted so far this stream. Thank you, guys. Oscar Hernandez, thank you for your service, veterans. May you all have a blessed Veterans Day. That's right. It will be Veterans Day. So there you go. Oscar wishes you a blessed weekend and blessed Veterans Day. And the same as well from the Blockchain Backer YouTube channel. Thank you to our servicemen. Crypto Upsir gifted 5 membership. Man, you guys, thank you. Crazy. Oscar gifted another one. Man, thank you. Ryan gifted 10. What is going on? Ryan Chase gifted 10. Why is this happening? Thank you, guys. Pat says, morning, BCB. Could you please give my wife a shout out for our anniversary? I know she would love it. Thanks, buddy. All right. Pat's wife. I want to wish you a very happy birthday. Oh, wait, I did this last time. It's not okay. We're starting over. Anniversary. Pat's wife. Happy anniversary to be married to Pat. What a lucky man he is to have you. And I got to hear about you. He told me a story, or not really story, just in general, of your character, and you allowing him to go to the U.S. and go on some adventures. That was very. You don't want to say like people are controlling or anything, but just like give the nod of approval to be like, go do that. Go pursue that for a couple of weeks. That was really cool, really amazing. I'm sure he absolutely appreciates that your loving nature allowed him to do that. And I had the opportunity to meet Pat when he was on that trip. Very cool. Very cool. And I hope that you have a wonderful anniversary today. And Pat's a lucky man. So, all right. Pat, Love you, brother. Thank you. Ryan Chase again. What's going on here? Ryan Chase gifted 10 BCB memberships. Wow. Thank you. Grumpy man, thank you, Ryan. Like back to back, man. 10 bombs. Grumpy old men. Shysteroo? Hey, BCB, I'm sure I've asked this before. What are your thoughts on the fact that XRP had already got through the level where everything else is struggling at? Yeah, it's at the same place, right? So it's struggling there too. So that's why I said I think we need to see Bitcoin break out more in order for XRP to get more. Really, for the whole market to get a whole lot more, we need a higher move in Bitcoin. Thanks, Spicy Backer. Thank you, Grumpy Old Man. Huang Nguyen says, what about XRP? Hit the like, Degens. I'm used to that, though. I mean, I'm not... The thing is, I think you have a lot of people who just don't know. Like, they don't know. Like, no matter how many times I say, like, XRP is going to torture you, and then all at once, it's going to rampage. They're like surprised when they get tortured. Like, I didn't sign up for pain. Yes, you did. Yes, you did. Who are you kidding? You did. That's why you're here. So, yeah, it's just part of the game. So we'll put together a video on it today. Jay Wiles, thank you for showing the Ethereum Moon fractal yesterday. Based on my portfolio and newsletter from February, I'm trying to decide how much to take out in a retracement. Yeah, I mean, I'm still going to take out a very healthy amount in a retracement. See, like, here's the deal, right? I know how retail investors are. I know how the crowd is, right? So I'm going to take a big, fat chunk out of this market at the retrace. That's what I'm going to do. And then I'm going to let the market tell me what's going to happen, right? And if I miss the part where we go from the 702 to the all-time high, it's like, right? Even here, right? You got all these areas. Ethereum's the same boat as the rest of the market. It's the same boat as Bitcoin, right? This is where Bitcoin is struggling right now. This is where we've seen a lot of coins struggle in here at 2866. All right, that's the same level. You know, you get like, let's say Ethereum goes into there. Okay. I've been buying Ethereum all throughout down here, right? It's in like newsletter discussions, it's videos, there's the track record, the evidence all there. Meanwhile, don't buy Ethereum, it's crashing, it's done. And like, you have to fight through that, like the low alpha BS that is out there. And the thing is, the crowd always gets euphoric here. The crowd becomes unwaveringly confident, which means everybody gets wrong-footed. Everybody gets wrong and offsides, right? So if I go and get out here and take out a large chunk of it, I'm willing to really kind of miss a lot of this because I didn't miss that. I didn't miss the 257% rise that took it to here. But in here, this is where all the danger is. All the danger resides in here to figure out, will this market go higher? And if we do something like this, I already know how this market reacts. I know how the reply boys are. You know, gets up here, pulls back, does this. Then we find out Doomtown, and then I'm right, but that sucks because who's going to be watching cryptocurrency YouTube videos if we're just crashing and crumbling? So that sucks. Or we go through here and we get like that. And it's like, boom. All right. We're through all these things. I'm back. I'm back in, right? I'm out. I'm back in. But I didn't miss the whole ride up. Meanwhile, they all missed the first phase, right? They all missed the first 156%. They'll get to here and then buy and euphoria and all that stuff. It's just, I understand how this stuff works, right? And so if we get here, pull back, and then if we actually break through, I'll go YOLO. I'll go YOLO on this thing. If Bitcoin breaks into a new all-time high, then the altcoin market starts going, I'll YOLO the heck out of Ethereum right here, expecting prices to go way, way higher. But, you know, that's where the reply boys come in. See, you didn't know nothing, BCB. You thought we were crashing. We get to the retracements. I'm selling hard, right? Reply, boys, eat it up. You go buy it. You go buy it. I'm selling. If we get through all of it and we get the signs of this market that typically mark when things go crazy, that is where, Bitcoin's breaking into a new all-time high. Ethereum's breaking into a new all-time high. Those are rock and roll scenarios, man. Those are things to be like pumped about. But the problem is most people, they sell the lows. They miss all of this. They wait till it gets here, and then they go catch the last couple 100%. They take all the loss down here, then they go cash the last couple of percent. This is just the way I do it, man. I'm back to retracements. I'm cutting stuff like I've always said I have for years. And then I'm going to let the market tell me what's coming next. There's a lot of things to be worried about with the market right now, right? Like you go show me a bull run started by Bitcoin that wasn't accompanied by the Dow Jones. And I already know the answer because you won't find one. You just won't. It's always accompanied with the Dow. So Dow goes breaking, Bitcoin goes breaking, Ethereum goes breaking. Boom! I'll throw money in like a pure degen, but we got to get there first, right? And so at the retracement levels is where I'm going to play major protection. Darren, do you think that XRP will be the new global standard? No. Black Swan Capitalists, do you agree with them on the Ripple documents being exposed? I don't know what that is, and no. I don't know if that's an ad for them. You're paying for an ad for these guys. Or look, I don't trust anything conspiracy theory related in the XRP community. It's hard because you'll find little bits of truth here and there, but there's a major incentive to just sit there and spit BS because people just eat it up, the conspiracies. So, recycled news, you see stuff right now, like when Twitter started paying for engagement and stuff, people are just recycling old stuff from 6 years ago to make it seem like it's relevant right now, like it's something big that's happening right now. But no, I'm just telling you, I've been watching XRP YouTube videos for 5 years. I've heard all that stuff, all the money, I've heard it all. But what does it keep doing? It keeps moving with Bitcoin. What? So until something crazy happens, I've just found it hard to believe. Andy Philpott, hit the likes, everyone. It's a Friday. Thank you. Andy, my man, appreciate it, man. Big supporter. AF11 says, hey, BCB, at what price range would you start selling some XRP to get your 60 to 65% at 10 to 13 ? No, we've talked about that. The highest XRP can go based on its market cap at this point, due to continuing to be low and the continued inflation of about 7% over the course of the last several years, is a 4.236 extension on XRP today is about $9.76. If it's 6 months from now, it may be like $9.30 due to inflation. So the longer and longer it takes, that 4.236 extension on the market cap never changes. It's always there. But there's more coins in circulation diluting the entire supply and diluting the market cap. And right now, $9.76 is what a $4.236 extension would be on the market cap. So likely for me, it starts at like $7 and works its way up. Black Cat says, happy Black Cat Friday. In the past, I've bought coins based on all-time high and 10x away, 90% down. This is bad. Is there hope with Dash and others? Well, there's hope with lots of stuff. I don't know about Dash. I got rid of my Dash a year and a half ago. But this is what your whole market looks like right now, right? Your whole market. Where are you? We'll grab just random altcoins, right? Right. The coins I have are the worst. No, not really. Where's your ADA? There's Cardano, right? Cardano was an interesting one because it lost 99% in 2018 and then went on to set a new all-time high. Let's see here. Right, here's Cardano. That's negative 99%. And then goes on and does 10,000% into a new all-time high. So these things do happen. But things that, we've been focusing on lately, and like I've been talking about in here, going through and saying, hey, how could we figure out which ones had the better performance, right? And what was other things to look at besides charts to isolate down particular assets? If you're going through the top 20, which is what the market's going to do, newcomers are going to do. The first place they're going to is CoinMarketCap, or they're going to see the rankings over there on Coinbase by what's the number one coin in the market. And the reality is the number one coin is represented by what its market cap is. So it's getting this number one ranking based on its market cap. Number 7 best coin in the crypto market. Is it ranked on users? Is it ranked on development activity? Or is it ranked on any type of metric on how this thing is being used? No, the number 7 is ranked on its market cap. And so newcomers are going to look at that and think, all right, that means it's the 7th best. Not necessarily. And that's why we go through a lot of this different stuff in here. So, however down the altcoins are, all of them are down. The question is who has the juice to return back to great heights. And that's why we went through a lot of these examples in here to say 2021 was very different from 2017. Only 2 out of every 10 coins had big runs. Only 2 out of 10, unlike 2017, which was 9 out of 10. So what was the factor that, deciphered those percentages in there? And it seems a lot of it did have to do with the developer activity. So focus on those things. But percentage-wise, like ADA, for example, Cardano, number 1 development activity. Just so you know. How much is this thing down? Right now, 88%. This is your number 1 coin by development activity in the cryptocurrency market, by the way, guys. There's more development activity on here than there is on Ethereum or Bitcoin or Cosmos or Polkadot or XRP or who are other big names, right? Chainlink. This guy has the most development activity on it. Just heads up. All right, Oscar, don't be salty and hit the like button. Happy Friday. Thank you very much, Oscar. And thank you guys for hitting the like button. Emmanuel Penny, I probably slaughtered that. My biggest bag is XRP, thanks to you. You have any charts on Metis? It's a layer 2. I've never heard of Metis. No, I don't. Well, I don't even know if just because it's my biggest bag doesn't mean that's the right call. But hopefully you have Bitcoin and you have Ethereum too. I remember these are those things about like those dash questions and stuff like that too. It's like, okay, how did your Ethereum Classic do? Like, well, I didn't get that one because that was stupid. Like, well, that's the one that went. We talked about 2 out of 10. That was the one that went YOLO. I sure hope for XRP. It's the one with regulatory clarity. It's where I've placed my biggest bet. Again, I'm a speculator just like everybody else in the market on how high it'll go. So fingers crossed. Philip Mann, gifted 5 BCB memberships. Philip, brother, thank you. Dilkansky, XRP to the moon. Thank you. Andy, happy anniversary to Pat. Yeah, Pat, man. Big wedding anniversary, bro. Jonas Fugalis gifted a BCB membership. Thank you. Crypto Upser, are there any confluences to the time XRP supersedes Ethereum? They have come at the very end of XRP moves. Whenever it has reached them, right? They're one in alt seasons, right? The 2 times it has happened in bullish periods, they were at the end of alt seasons, where it finally caught up to the Ethereum market cap. And then in 2018's bear market, in 2019, they flip-flopped each other a lot. It was holding itself up very well with Ethereum, and I think they flip-flopped like 5 times. But in bullish modes, like in bull markets, right? And that's the question, right? When are we going to catch up bullishly, right? it's in the middle of alt seasons, and particularly like right at the end of them. BCB, how are you educating yourself and getting prepared for what might be coming in the future if we are just doing a retrace? Thanks for all you do. Yeah, so I'm been like I've talked about this publicly, working on like trying to build like a hedge right now. I'm of course nervous of the stock market and what's going to come there, right? So there's always still this chance, right, that we're just 2016 it up in here, right? It's going to get up, it's going to fall, it's going to spend 7 months running sideways, all that good stuff, and we just got to hang out here for another year in crypto. That, you know, there's going to be some exciting stuff. ETF gets launched and then down we go. But, you know, in the end, it still hasn't deviated away from 2016's price action. It's really, this is the end of a super cycle correction and recovery, and it's still behaving like the recovery after a new super cycle starts to begin. So that's always still there. But I still hold that concern and that worry that the stock market's going to fall, and we have no track record of Bitcoin being able to break out into a new all-time high without the company of the Dow Jones Industrial Average. So I'm starting to try to like build a hedge, which would be shorting some tech stocks. My prayer is that all my shorts get blown out of the water and go to zero. That would be the best case scenario, because that means crypto's huge. Crypto is surging. And the size of these shorts is very small in relation to my entire cryptocurrency bag. You know, I don't know how much other content creators have in their crypto, right? Like if what percentage of their net worth is in there. I got a chunk in there that would make me uncomfortable, like uncomfortable. It's not a small amount. It is not, you know. And I'm not recommending that for everybody. Like, the exposure I have is a lot in crypto. You know, I've definitely had days where I've lost more money than I thought I would ever see in my life. Where like in a week, more money disappeared than I'd never seen in my life. Like, I watched, you know, there's not little bags in here. And so opening up some short positions, particularly puts, with expirations of like April, May, and June on things like Apple and Microsoft and NVIDIA and stuff like that. In the event that things do fall, there would be some value gain that happens in there. So I'm trying, like, my kind of goal at this point, and I'm nowhere close, is to try to build like a short position in the United States stock market that's approximately about 10% of the size of my crypto portfolio. It's kind of what my goal is to get to. I'm kind of running out of, you know, I don't know if I'm running out of time or what, but that's the things that I'm working on right now as kind of a hedge in the background on that. And I've been talking about that for about a month. That's been kind of my thing. Like, when we fell down here, I had stated, you know, I wished I had more shorts. I don't have enough, and you know, pretty uncomfortable that, you know, I wasn't prepped in that manner, because I thought we would have more time to be able to enter those, and that's because there was a trickery, and here we are. You know, the fifth flow, right? This is called three flow. 1, 2, 3 flows. Getting back up, and so like trying to enter in a bunch of hedge shorts in here and puts on the market, really hoping that they expire worthless and they go to zero. And that's how it works, right? If you get to your expiration date and you're not below your target price, they go to zero, and you lose all of your money. And that would be an okay scenario for me. It would be a fine scenario for me, but that's kind of like the thing I'm trying to do to hedge a little bit. Because, you know, I got a lot of gold, I got a lot of silver, I got treasuries, you know, I've got, you know, savings accounts, I've got stuff, but like, how are you going to benefit and like not take, because we don't know if gold is going to surge into a liquidation event in the stock market if it does come. We see that throughout history when liquidation events happen. If there's deleveraging in a market, gold can be impacted in a moment like that. So keeping that in mind, just trying to kind of like spread myself out a little bit. You know, gold, silver, treasuries, having the crypto exposure, which is long exposure, right? and then having some type of hedge short exposure over here in the stock market. And that's the thing I've been working on now. I haven't been short in this market at all until working on it now. And it's still very small. Like the amounts of shorts that I have built into the stock market currently right now between Apple, Nvidia, and Microsoft represent approximately 1.5% the size of what my crypto portfolio is. So obviously I'm not even anywhere near that 10% that I want to be at. So that's kind of the things that I'm thinking of right now when it comes to getting prepared. That's kind of the thoughts I've had, right? It's kind of just like, all right, like hopefully we get a good enough retracement that I can pull cash out, then sit there and wait to see what the market does at the retracement level, right? When Bitcoin gets back in there, how does it behave when it gets back into the retracement level? And in there, have cash on the sides, have shorts, but also have long exposure, kind of a mix, right? And I don't think, regardless of what happens at the retracement level, if the thing turns over and crashes and crumbles, will the shorts make it to where I get filthy rich? No, they're just going to kind of offset. So I think this is more of just kind of when we get back to those retracement levels, just trying to hedge each direction for a little while during that uncertainty and let things kind of resolve themselves from there. I've been consistent for, 2 years on my thoughts of us getting back to retracement levels. And so as we get there, retail was wrong-footed the whole way up, but they're going to become overwhelmingly confident here. I'm just giving you very fair warning on what happens with retail sentiment. All the content will be focused around, is it a new bull run starting? Are we breaking out to 100K? And, I've even dabbled with the thoughts of it, that I'll sell 100% of my Bitcoin, which has never been anything I've thought about before. I've always thought, I bought a lot of Bitcoin down in here during the FTX collapse. I took a stab at trying to buy some right here, but I had set a stop, and then FTX collapse happened, and that was like, that's it. I remember I tell you the story of my church congregation laughing. I said, that's the bottom. That's it, man. The pastor tells an FTX joke, and the whole congregation laughs. I said, that's it. We're done. Everybody knows. Right? Everybody knew at the top we're going to 100K. Everybody knows we're a joke now. That's the bottom. The whole congregation, the whole building laughed about FTX. That was the bottom. And so my thoughts have just been, I'll just sell all that Bitcoin as we go back into the retracement levels. And the only Bitcoin I'll have remaining is still the stuff that I had from here. Because, right, I sold 65% of my Bitcoin back over here. But, going into it, like the thing is about Bitcoin, when we headed into this, I had a very clear picture on what I thought was going to happen with Bitcoin. For those who were here in the moments and everything like that, I even literally expected a 50% crash in Bitcoin and then one new all-time high, and that would be it. That was recorded into the course. I even shared that video on YouTube in October of 2021 before the top came in. I tried to really relay it. I had a very clear vision on what was coming for Bitcoin in 2021. Very clear. From 2020, all of it. I had a clear vision and really expressed what that vision was, and it came to insane accuracy. I have a very hard time creating a vision to go higher than this. The only vision that could be there would be that Bitcoin would be starting some new super cycle, right? That's the only way. Otherwise, I can't imagine anything bigger than that. You would have to be doing something like this, which is still going to be that stair stepping, which would still mean eventually at some point it comes back and smacks back down into 31.5, right? If Bitcoin eventually comes and smacks down into 31.5 and then holds that as support, well, it's just continuing to follow the plan, right? It's just continuing to follow what happens after every recovery of a super cycle, that it would just be very normal. So if we end up having something like that and 31.5 holds, my thoughts may change, man. Bitcoin for longer. But otherwise, I have such a hard vision on seeing Bitcoin. And I probably need to share the videos from 2020 and 2019 on the vision for Bitcoin. because it was thought during C19, it was thought ludicrous to say we're going 60, 70, $80,000 for Bitcoin. People thought there was literally no way. Literally no way. Bitcoin's at $4,000, $5,000. I get the same comments I always do. It's nothing new, right? People, they'll reply, boys. How irresponsible are you, blockchain backer? Look at people. They're wearing masks. People are dying. Don't you understand? There's zero chance. There's 25% unemployment. People don't even know how to pay their bills right now. And you're sitting here saying Bitcoin's going to $70,000. Like, you're crazy, right? But the vision was very clear. Right now, I just don't have that vision for Bitcoin. And that's not coming from a pessimistic view of Bitcoin or a biased view of Bitcoin and saying that, hey, it's not going to succeed. It's too slow. It's too clunky. You know, what happens if Satoshi Nakamoto starts moving some things? That's not coming from a biased view of like Bitcoin's outdated technology. So I want you to know that it's not coming from that. Really, primarily, I just stick to the charts, right? I don't see it. I can't find it. I can't make it happen. The only way that it could be happening would have to be this, right? Is that it's a recovery after a super cycle, and that we're going to have to eventually stair step. And so you get here, I just don't. And then you got the stock market situation going on. I don't know. I still haven't decided. I'm certainly going to be letting go of all the Bitcoin that I've gotten during the FTX collapse. The question is the remaining 35% that I still hold. That I've held since 2018, since the capitulation of 2018, since 3 to 4K. Still have 35% of that Bitcoin. Question is on what to do that. So it's been a long thought. Haven't decided yet. I'll let the market tell me when the time comes. But don't be mistaken, right? Like, I'm not like, I saw a good post in there. I think Patoshi posted it or something. You're going to be wrong. You're always going to be wrong, but it's how quick can you, how quick can you turn it around? If we go back to retracements, we hit them, I sell, and then we go through retracements, and then we go to like all-time high. It's like, okay, well, shoot, crap, that was wrong. We're going, which means what? It means we didn't get a washing machine for 12K. We got all the way to there, and then not even me, right? And then I missed this. But I didn't miss this, man. I did not get suckered into selling lows down in here. I was spicy as could possibly be. But up in here, there's just no question for me. There has to be defense played. If we get that high, there has to be defense. It's just ludicrous not to, in my opinion. But to remember, this is what I was trying to remember, because we talk about emotions, we talk about narratives, we talk about everything. The narrative will be the best here. The narrative will be euphoria here. Viewership will be back to those 4,000 or 5,000 people in the concurrent viewers, which we're at 2,152 now. All the dopamine has worn off now. We will get back to that, and the narrative will be very strong. And like I mentioned in yesterday's video, Bitcoin will be at that $1 trillion market cap at its 702 retracement. The narratives will be there. Michael loves it. Thank you, man. He says the course is amazing. It's a good one-time buy. Thank you, man. Okay. All right. I got to get back to it. We're at an hour. I got to get through this real quick because these were all really long today. Jay Weil says, you've made rotations on your Bitcoin. What would you need to see to make similar moves with your Ethereum into, for example, ADA or XLM, or are they too high? I'm not going to be doing rotations of altcoins into altcoins. That's just a personal thing. I'm not going to do it. I wanted for Bitcoin, I already knew I had no intention of continuing to keep Bitcoin beyond this level. All the Bitcoin I had bought in here, I had no intention of keeping it beyond this level. And it just, it seemed like the appropriate time for me based on where the altcoins were, the strength they were showing for things like ADA. that they were getting ready to reverse back up, which they have. The ADA, even with Bitcoin's little move up, ADA's massively outperformed Bitcoin, not massively, but it's outperformed. But when you're playing altcoin rotations, like when all altcoins are moving together, they're all going to move on different days. Like you can look like this for an altcoin, and then look like this for another altcoin. What you're just trying to play in between every single little wave and every little timing that's off. That, hey, this one actually went a little bit early and then it fell, but if you would have gotten into that one, you would have gotten up to here, and then you could have swapped into that one and then gone there. It's too much. I don't have time for that, or the stress of getting it wrong. And then you just see little news things happen, like what happened with Ethereum, and then as is typical. Ethereum pumps. The newbies enter the market and buy Ethereum Classic, right? This is how it goes. So I'm not playing altcoin particular rotations. Guarav Gulati says, long-time follower, thank you for all you do. What is the site where you buy gold from again? Thank you again for keeping our emotions in check. Remember you said you wait for Black Friday for gold. Oh, you don't have to necessarily wait for Black Friday for gold. You're not going to save a whole lot. See, gold premiums and silver premiums are very different. Gold premiums, typically you're going to pay about 2 to 3% over spot, unless if you're buying gold eagles, then you may pay about 4 to 5%, or if you're buying gold buffaloes. So that spot spread isn't too huge. Silver, on the other hand, can have big spreads. Sometimes it can be 10%. Sometimes extreme times can be 20%. And eagles many times are right there at about 20%. I think I haven't checked on the silver eagle spread recently on the spot spread, but last I looked, it was like $5 or $6 over spot. So with the $22 price and you're $5 over, it's about 20 to 23% over spot. That's a little high. But when you get to Black Friday, those silver spot premiums can drop. They can get closer to, lower numbers. However, people have been like the silver hype and euphoria is gone. The retail investors are dumping. They're terrified. They didn't get rich quick off silver. So they're starting to bring it in and sell it. And premiums have really gone down on silver. But, I don't look at what retail is doing as any indication of what will happen with the price. Because retail, that was like the biggest retail euphoria we've had in silver in over a decade, and they couldn't impact price for a half a second. The only thing they did was shoot up premiums and make it expensive and harder to get for other retail investors. They didn't impact the actual silver market. You know what I mean? But right now, with retail, they're just completely doing what they always do, buying the top, selling the bottom. Premiums are coming way down now. It's nice. So you can get a lot of silver stuff for like $1.99 over spot. And really everything's just down. Even the Eagles being $5 to $6 over spot, it's much better than what it was, where they were like 15 to 20 over spot just a year or two ago. But anyway, I go to findbullionprices.com and shop through there. But it's personal preference on which ones you're comfortable with. I'm going to rally these off really fast. Some of the most popular ones are AppMex, JM Bullion, and SD Bullion. Those are like the most popular places. But I like to compare at findbullionprices.com. Not sponsored by any of those companies, but they definitely are getting some free advertising. All right, got to keep going. Thank you. Jonas Fugalis. But my point being is, it's all, dude, it's almost Black Friday. I'm sitting here saying, you don't got to wait till Black Friday. Oh, shoot, Black Friday's in 2 weeks. I better get my mind right and get ready to go shopping. Sweet. Jonas Fugala says, if all-time high situation, will you rotate cashed out money in? Yeah, I would. So I'm going to go to the retrace, take a whole lot out, chill out, let the market prove if it's going to do anything more than that. And if it does prove more than that, I will have caught here to here and here and up, right? But I'm not willing to gamble on this. And I'll be looking for other signs, right? I'm going to look to the stock market. Right? What are you doing? Right? Are you telling me that you're going to an all-time high? Is that what you're telling me? If you're telling me you're going to an all-time high, that's interesting, because that's a requirement that Bitcoin needs to get through the retracing, get to its all-time high, is that you need to be at an all-time high. Are you plowing down? That's probably not a good sign. You know what I mean? So I'll be looking for a lot of different stuff at that time. But as of right now, nothing changes. Anybody asking me, now, do you think we're now going to an all-time high? And it's simply because they can finally see it. They finally see the market reversed a long time ago. Are we going to all-time high? You had to catch it early. And that's the hard part. That's the thing I'm always trying to do on this channel. And it's why it's the hardest thing to go against the herd, to go against the public, because the public doesn't spot the reversals. They just don't get it. Their emotions are always the biggest down there. But these are things I've always tried to do on this channel, is to spot the reversals, because that's where the biggest, the learning comes from there. The rewards come from the bottom, right? Like when you hear stories of people making, 10,000% on some kind of coin or something like that, they didn't wait till the all-time high for that to happen. They had to buy when everybody's telling them this thing's going to zero. Or, the person who sells the top, go show me in all of history, go show me a top where there was everybody was bearish at the top and you had plenty of time to get out. It's never, ever what happens. And so once you just recognize the tops are always marked with everybody convicted that we're going higher, and the bottoms are always marked with everybody convicted we're going lower, and we have some type of news associated with that as well, that's when reversals end up happening. And it's enamored me, it's intrigued me of how that happens in markets, and that to be the winner, there's this personal inner battle you have to have. This inner strength, not physical strength, but how mentally tough are you to fight against that? Because that's what it takes to win. And so it's almost like there's a part of a game to it, and you're testing your human nature and your human boundaries of going against norms and going against the public. And the public thinks you're stupid as can be, but just always remember, and we all know it: 100K, 12K. Left behind every time. And we have to recognize that whatever the herd thinks is wrong. Always. So when you get a lot of people saying the same thing, that's why you'll hear me talk about it a lot. Hey, a lot of people are saying we're going to 12K. You know what happens next? They're going to get wrecked, right? So, okay. I got to move a little faster. AF11 says, what I meant is, what price do you start selling some XRP to reach your 65% sold at $9? Or you mean at $7? Or would you start letting go some at 2 to 3? I don't think I'm going to be letting go at 2 to 3. Not right now. And maybe if there was some other super scary signal being flashed in the market at the same time, maybe. But, to each their own, because at that point, at $2 to $3, most people in this market will be up about 10x. Most people will. I would think the reality is, for a lot of people, they're at life-changing wealth already at $2 to $3. If you only have 2,000 XRP or something like that, you're not going to get life-changing wealth from XRP. And that's the whole hard. I mean, unless if you live in a cardboard box right now and you're on the streets of New York City and that dude next to you, we won't go there. But if that's what your life is, then 2,000 XRP probably will change your life. But if you already live in an apartment, or you live in a house or something like that, I don't think it's going to change your life. Unless if getting to, $9 or, $8 or $10, if 20 grand drastically changes your life, right? But you have to realize most people who really went all in on this thing don't have that much. They have a whole lot more. And getting to that $2 to $3 price level would massively change their life. And I would fully expect some people to say, I'm going to take a little bit off the table right here. I would. But the thing is, what we see, we'll see the same stuff, right? We'll always see the narrative. We'll see the euphoria. We'll see everything that we always see when price eventually does go up. Oh, DZ says, why is Soul pumping? We got the Soul bots. Soul bots. Do you think they're FTX bots? Like, do you think they're like FTX? Like, they are reported for doing that kind of stuff, right? Do you think they're the ones sending out all the Solana bots everywhere? Because they're actively unloading, right? All right. Do you see ADA pushing for 4.236 fib on this bull? And how does development behind a coin help it get pumped? I hope that made sense. Thanks. Okay, so Oscar, thank you very much. Oh, wait, I skipped somebody. Angus Scrim says, first time here. Great content. Thank you. Your thoughts on Ator? I don't know what Ator is, but thank you very much for the super chat. Oscar Hernandez says, do you see ADA pushing for the 4.236 extension on this bull run? And how does development behind a coin help it get pumped? I hope that made sense. Yeah, I mean, it's a great question, right? So, like, I've been talking with Santiment because I want to get to know more data. Would you guys like if I brought Santiment on the show? Let me ask you that. If we went through some of that data, the development data. But I was talking with them, and like, so you look at the percentage returns on those coins, right? Where do the whales want to go, right? Where do they feel more confident putting their money in and feeling it's not going to be a rug pull, right? And they're going to put it on things that they look at on chain and see actively are being worked on. Real building is actually happening, and it's not a rug pull, right? So that was I thought that's what when I was talking to them, they like I thought that was a good explanation, right? Where is the big money willing to put their money at? And they're willing to put it where, where there's active development actually happening in there. As for ADA, where are you? One thing that's very interesting about ADA is just the price structure of it happening in here. It is literally an identical match of price rise and price fall of 2018, 2019. And we're not talking just close. We're talking like almost pinpoint precise. And then almost pinpoint precise on the downside of how these bottoms have come in. This right here was Ethereum Classic that did eventually lead on to a 4.236 extension of Ethereum Classic's market cap. What's also interesting about that is, of course, Charles Hoskinson's original ties to Ethereum Classic as well. Are they running the same whales? Are they running the same market makers in here? What are they doing to make price do that? I don't know, but I'll take it. If you've got a price structure set up that is similar to what happened for a 4.236 extension on the market cap, if you're going to use the same market makers and the same whales and the same bots to run the price the same way, I'll take it. And if you're going to have the most activity development on chain out of any other project in the cryptocurrency market, I'll take that too. So if there is a chance of something running a 4.236 extension, my bets are placed on it being Cardano. It is one of my top holdings that I do have. So I'm a fan, man. Thank you, Oscar. Santiago Veliz, my man. Thank you. Very, very, very generous. I appreciate it, sir. Thank you for the very kind super chat and support. Appreciate it. I need to get like some cool like thingies that pop up here. Like something different when something crazy. Like if Pat drops a 20 bomb of gifted memberships, or like when Ryan Chase was given multiple 10s. Something pop up, something for Santiago too. Thank you guys. Anthony Trujillo, is there a case for altcoins who went to full extension last cycle to only go to their retrace alongside Bitcoin? Thank you, BCB, for all you do. Hit the like. Yeah, I would think so. I mean, that's what we saw a lot of. Solana obviously has the same setup of what Ethereum did in the past, right? But what Ethereum had back then also too is Ethereum had very strong development activity that was still happening throughout all this. Solana is the development activity is way down. The developers are way down. And there's definitely big bags of coins that need to be getting dumped, right? FTX needs to be dumping this stuff. They need to get their money out of this. Venture capitalists need to be getting their money out of this. They know how to run all these bots. They know how to run social media campaigns. They know how to get the public super pumped about a coin, right? They know the tricks of the trade. And from a development perspective, there needs to be a big turnaround happening in Solana. Otherwise, this thing, I cannot imagine it doing more than a retrace with how many big parties need to dump this thing. All the VCs that need to get out of here, FTX that needs to get out of here, everybody who got massively, just big babs that got wrong-footed on this thing, they just want to get out. And I think we'll see that with other coins as well. Right? I mean, we can only say that because the market changed, right? You wouldn't have said that about 2015 to 2017. The top 10, wham, they all go. They still go, right? You go through the 2013, 2014 bear, all those coins are still there. They're all still in the top 10. Wham, they all 70x into 2017. Not the case in 2021. Only 2 out of 10 end up going more than 25x. That's Ethereum and Binance coin from the top 10, right? And that's the case for the top 20. It's the case for the top 30. Go down the list, 2 out of 10, right? Otherwise, you're either 8 out of 10 or whatever. This is just the dynamic we saw of the market. So we can pretend that won't happen this time, but everything will go, or is that dynamic going to continue? I have to anticipate that dynamic to continue, where it was only 8 out of 10. Does it mean it will only be 6 out of 10 this next time? Does it mean it'll only be 4 out of 10? Does it mean only 1 out of 10, but 9 out of 10 go? I don't know that answer, but I have to be aware that dynamic shifted, change, and what was the fundamental underlying feature of particular ones that did go on and ones that did not. And the ones that did not were ones that had massive developer decline, and Solana is definitely one of them with like year over year negative 50% developers. Like, it's big time. Let me see if we can pull it up. Here's the developers. Just continuing to get abandoned. Active developers. So like the market average, I think it's like down 24. So Solana's over the market average. Here you can see the activity actually happening on chain too. So not only developers down, but activity on chain way down too. So this is the dynamic of the market, right? There's no question this is the dynamic of the market, and it has been downtrending. And I've mentioned that this is a different dynamic from what we saw in 2018, 19, and 20, right? That, we're talking about retraces, right? And it's like, well, why only retraces? Look at what the market did in 2018, 19, and 20. Look at this, right? Now, one thing I can justify on this, right? I'm zooming in a little bit. That's not gonna let me. One thing I can justify on this to say, why would this hold better than this? And it's because the market did get teased in here. Like, developers follow price. It's well known, right? So like, here's the breakout. Here's February, March, April. Boom. There's the peak of the market. March, April, and May, right? Here's the peak of the market. But prices that got so high, like, developers still came into the market, right? Like, they always do that. So like, here's 2017. Boom. There's December of 2017. That's the top of Bitcoin. Boom. There's January of 2018. That's the top of the altcoin market. But developers still came into the market because of all the excitement that was surrounding all of it, right? Then prices go down, prices get stagnant, and depression sets into the market, and developers chill out too. But then what happened in 2019 is Bitcoin like does that throwback rally, right? It does the big retracement rally. I have so much stuff on this screen. Bitcoin goes in for this big rally in here, right? And so developers are like, oh yeah, let's go. Bitcoin, crypto. And so like it doesn't get that big decline, right? And then, then it tames out and it gets boring again, right? After that rise, it gets boring again in crypto. Then C19 happens and then we're chilling out. Then prices start to rise, rising, boom, all-time high for Bitcoin, all-time high for devs, boom. And then, that. What do we not have here, right? There hasn't been like that excitement rally of what happened back then, right? You don't have that big excitement rally in crypto in general where we fall, everybody gets euphoric. Like we have fallen and there's been no euphoria in this market since then. None. Which in here we had a lot of it. We like my emotional log says there was euphoria there. And I was experiencing it too. And like there just hasn't been that in this market. The market has been desert crossing. The market has been unbelievably brutal. And so you're not going to get developers coming in here during a really crummy bearish crud market. So that makes more sense that this thing is dropping. So then when we look at that, you say to yourself, okay, well, who's like really dropping? Who's like practically getting abandoned, right? You can see total down 28, total devs down 28%, full-time devs down 24% market wide, right? And so then if you look at something like Solana and, 28 versus 24, well, it's down 57% total devs year over year and down 50% devs full time. I have even made my own Excel sheet. Let me go look at it really quick. Developer activity to look at Solana. So like one thing I've been doing is looking at assets to say, well, how have they done? Okay, we can look at their data and say how they did for the last year. And it's like, dang, that's really crummy. But, what was a year ago? FTX collapsed, right? Did a bunch of people leave during then? And now we're getting, of course, that marked data to say, what was it like prior to then? Maybe a bunch of people ran away, but maybe people are coming back, which we can clearly see is not the case in here. But like some of these assets, we can see that they are down year over year. But what about the last 3 months? What about the last 6 months? And you're not going to get this in this report, but fortunately, I've been saving these reports every time they come in, and I have them in my Excel sheet so I can compare one quarter to a past quarter to a quarter prior to that. And like even with Solana, like we're looking at negative 57% year over year. Well, how about over the course of the last 6 months? How have they done? Like what about the last 6 months? How has Solana done? Well, they're negative 25% for the last 6 months. How are they for the last 3 months? They're negative 29% for the last 3 months. So they've lost 109 full-time devs in the last, 3 months. So they're like in massive decline. So when we look at 2021, and was that a bad sign for coins? It seemed to be a bad sign when that type of stuff was happening. And so I think, we're watching VCs and we're watching them pump it and create excitement, and nobody knows why they create excitement for it when it seems to be getting abandoned. The dev activity is fading. There's no renewed interest in it, and it's crashing. Development activity and full-time devs, part-time devs, everything crashing in relation to the rest of the market where devs are bailing. So, do with it you will. All right, I got to move on. Spending way too much time. Dude here, what platform or website will you use to short stocks? First of all, I don't recommend anybody short stocks. This is leverage stuff. This is where you go to zero, right? This is where you lose your money. One, I don't do any leverage trading in cryptocurrencies. I don't support it in any way. This is the most volatile market in the world. These exchanges do have order books. I'm sure the market makers have an ability to look at the market books, and they will go liquidate you in half of a second with a 1-wick candle in this market. They will get you and wipe you to zero fast. If you don't even have the first clue on how to do any of that, to buy a put, what a put is, or a website to do it on, you're just going to be an uneducated buyer on that. It's not something that you learn overnight. Like, here, let me go set up a Robinhood account, buy puts, and pray that I did the right thing. It takes some learning. So that's something you're going to have to go research on your own. I don't want to send you to some place to do that or recommend somewhere to do that with literally no education. You need to research it. How do you buy puts? What are the risks with puts? Because puts will go to zero. If you get to their expiration date and you haven't reached your target price, they will expire worthless and be worth literally nothing. So you will lose all of your money. And I understand that risk. And I hope that is the risk. I hope that I want that. And that's a hard people for them to wrap their head around. If you're gonna hedge something, why would you make a bet and hope that your hedge goes to zero? Because that's all it is. It's like buying an insurance policy. You buy insurance on your house, right? You don't want to use your insurance. You hope that you lose all your money on your insurance policy and you don't have to cash in on any of it, right? Because then something bad would have happened. You don't want it. So that's the way I treat this. Buying an insurance policy, praying that I don't need it. You know what I mean? But you need to look it up, learn how to do it. I don't feel comfortable. It's like somebody asking me to recommend an exchange to them, a crypto exchange, which I don't do, right? It's the same kind of thing. Thank you though. Scylla, hey BCB, ABC correction on XRP. Thank God, Father. I don't know yet. I haven't seen any exhibiting strength as of yet to convince me that something huge is coming just yet. I mean, we could just be back testing the level of support breakout. I don't know. We got back to retracement levels up in here. We need to show something outside of down. We could draw fancy diagonal lines on here all we want. There's breakout, fancy diagonal line, backtesting breakout. Or do we need to test a horizontal support, which I already went through today? Horizontal support potentially. But I think probably for me to be convinced of it, I just need confirmation of it. If we got back up here, if you got back up to 71 cents, it'd be like, yeah, that was probably the end of it, right? It'd be like, hey, we're back up here. Probably going to have to do something like this and then go. But even if we get back to here, it's still not safe. So we need more price action to play out in here. Oscar gives the BCB membership. Oscar, thank you very much. Andy Philpott as well. Thank you guys very much. Could Litecoin ever get an ETF? What's your take? I mock the ETF stuff. I just mock it and laugh at it because this is not my first rodeo with ETFs. The ETF carrot has literally been dangled in front of me the entire time I've been in crypto. People really hang their hat on the ETF is so important because all the salesmen are going to get retail investors to buy it. Sorry, that's a story for retail investors. That's not what's going to happen. It is fabricated baloney. You have nothing to hang your hat on with Bitcoin right now to be excited about with Bitcoin. Literally nothing. So the ETF carrot is dangled right now. You don't have store of value. You don't have inflation hedge. You have literally nothing. You have to hang your hat on ETF. And that retail investors are going to buy it because the salesmen are going to be compensated for it. And that's why Bitcoin is the best. There is no second best. 6% in 3 years. There is no second best. But the thing is, we still have never had an ETF for Bitcoin. And so if the SEC is so worried about Bitcoin manipulation, are they going to be more concerned about Litecoin manipulation? Maybe. I don't know. Why don't we get the first US spot ETF through the door? And then we could open up that discussion. But still, even Bitcoin, they haven't done it yet. What's the invalidation points for retracement breakthroughs, i.e. major indices got through all 702 and 78, but since come back down? Yep, once it got back through the 618 again, that's the invalidation. Let's go back. Where are you, Dow? I'll find you here. It doesn't mean it can't waddle its way up. like so. Right? But notice once you get through all of them, right, then we start holding supports. And so a rule I've always had for me, if we get through the last one, I stop here below 618 because that would mean it is a complete failed breakout. It's not a breakout at that point. It will have failed. And I believe we lost all of those on the Dow. Right? So that's failed breakout. Not only like do we take out the first one, you take out the next one. So no breaking out has happened in here. That's what leaves that to be very, very sketchy of expecting all-time highs from here. We need a dang miracle, something crazy. It goes and hits the 4.236 extension with some wacky narrative, but structurally not looking pretty for the Dow still. Daniel, hello, mister. I kindly want to ask your thoughts on ICP. Looks like a big potential percentage. Development data also good. Do you own some? Much thanks. I own a small amount, but I don't know much about it. They've had an inflation problem. I believe their inflation problem has been corrected. Let me check. So ICP is one of those ones you cannot use that price chart. Not going back to that all-time high. Not a chance. Internet computer, the one that randomly showed up in the middle of the bull run, that was worth like $1,000. Let's see their supply. Have they fixed it? So their 1 year supply rate was about 26%. As of right now, the current inflationary rate is about 6% annually. Maybe a little bit less. About 4 to 5% annual. No, wrong. We're going from April. About 7 to 8% annually. So that's not completely out of line. But they had big inflation prior to that, I believe. Yeah, they did. So from June of 2021, you know, 140% inflation from there to there. They had like 100% inflation rate. And then if we take it from 1 year ago, November of 2022 to right now, another 64% inflation rate. That is going to impact their price chart drastically to have multiple years back to back with that high of an inflation rate. That's why you see ICP absolutely demolished. Right. Anybody who says, you know, I'm down 90%, you're not down like an ICP holder is. That is big inflation that has caused that. You know, a lot of the blame gets placed on FTX, but I also put a lot of blame on ICP for their inflationary rate. You have that type of inflation, you're going to have this kind of problem. That's what happens. Yeah, but it's a small amount. It's just because I had high development activity, but I don't know enough about it to sit here and say it's a good thing. I just don't. It's one of those ones, I have no problem cutting it at any point if I needed to. QY7TI, BCB, you're expecting Bitcoin to get flipped by Ethereum or XRP? No, I didn't say that. Or anyone else? Would you have to happen for your scenario with Bitcoin just retracing, right? Thanks, man, your legend. No, I don't think Bitcoin's going to get flipped here. I don't. Unless if it's Ethereum who flips it. So I think it would just be too hard for XRP. XRP has attempted to flip Ethereum 5 times and gets knocked back every time. So not only do you have to get through there, you're going to have to get through. Let me take a look at a chart. Let's do this. Here's XRP's market cap. Did I lose it? I did lose it. Okay. There you go. Man, if you want to know what it felt like to hear, why isn't XRP doing anything? Imagine Bitcoin 10xing, Ethereum flat, Ethereum wasn't as much, but it's still, Ethereum is in new all-time highs. XRP is still down 50% from 7 months ago, while Bitcoin's up 10x at that point. That was what's wrong with XRP? Or how about right here? What's wrong with XRP? But so looking at the times that it has flipped, right? So Ethereum is not tremendously far away from Bitcoin, right? What it's like 2x away, 3x, 185% away. But that's kind of where it's always hovered, right? It's kind of always hovered under there, and it's about a normal distance away to be that far away. XRP has certainly been this far away before. Well, if you look at it right now from where it's at in relation to Ethereum, about 600%. You look at it before it took off here. It's 600% away. But you see it catches it right here. Failure, right? It crosses Ethereum, failure. Crosses Ethereum, failure. Then, like I talked about in 2018 and 2019, they went back and forth quite a few times deep in here, and then never to recover again after that, especially once the SEC lawsuit happened. That was the biggest separation between Ethereum and XRP ever, right in there. And of course, Bitcoin's going, Ethereum's going, and then the big massive separation happens in here. We get a little bit close again, but never catching up again. I just don't see any evidence of like XRP catching and maintaining above Bitcoin over the last decade, but there's definitely been times where it's caught up to Ethereum. So could it catch up to Ethereum? I think it's reasonably possible. Julio, is a triple-digit link on Fibonacci's radar? I don't think so. First, you need a full bull run for something like that, right? Chainlink does have good development data. They have developer growth, right? So we'll go back to that thing. Right, don't be misconstrued of me selling selling Solana. I have no problem doing it like that. It hurts a little bit more to sell Chainlink than it does to sell Solana because I think Chainlink is actually good, but it's just a technical move, and you got to put your emotions aside and your feelings aside for stuff like that. Where are you at, Chainlink? Chainlink's actually up. See, look at that. Year over year, total devs up 18%. Full-time devs up 2%. Notice that it's not like in a decline on development activity, and GitHub commits. Still like a long track record of growth happening in here. And notice the full-time devs are growing in here on this long trajectory, whereas you saw with Solana, it was like Death Town. See this over here? All active devs. See this growth in here? Unlike Solana, which was Death Town. So, I like that over here. So if there's a bull market at some point, I would suspect Chainlink would probably be a really good performer in it. It has a good technical setup. It was a long consolidation we went through. And if I see signals of the market bottoming, Chainlink's one I'm definitely willing to put more back into my bag again for sure. Again, you guys know I got the bottom of that one. Again, when the world is screaming Chainlink is the dumbest chart in the world. Wrong. It was massive accumulation. But, just whatever. Chainlink looks good. overall. I don't know about triple digit though. The average caveman, Ooga Booga, been here since 2019. Weeks ago, you talked about high activity coins, but no dev data. How do you think that inverse affects those coins? I don't really ever really talked about it. I thought it was weird. I said it was odd, and I don't know if that data can be trusted. Things like Bitcoin Cash, things like Litecoin have high activity. Like they've got a lot of wallets that are active, but they don't have activity tracked on them. So I asked Santiment about that. I said, hey, why is it that Bitcoin Cash and Litecoin have like massive amounts of wallets, active wallets? Like, what's up with that? Because they don't have like extreme dev data. Why do they have massive amounts of active wallets? And they didn't really know the answer on that one in particular, on those two. So something smells fishy in regards to those two. We don't have any development data on either of them. We don't have that here on developer report. We don't have that data, I don't believe, on Santiment. I'll have to look again, but it said the activity score was 0, which means there's no dev activity data for Bitcoin Cash or for Litecoin. But they have massive amounts of active wallets, which was just bizarre. The number of wallets like exceeding Cardano, exceeding XRP, Litecoin, right? And we're talking like 3 times the amount, 5 times the amount of what Cardano has, Litecoin does. 10 times the amount that XRP does. I don't know. It's bizarre. They didn't really have an answer for it either. Mr. D. Sup, bros? Ethereum building a support on top of 2065. I assume it can't hold 2065. It will fall just like it did in April of this year. I'm not going to look at the short-term time frame of what happened today. We had a break up yesterday. I'm going to let it play out for a minute, bro. We're living in the minute to minute. If we're looking $4 down from where price is right now, what are we at right now? 2101. I don't know. I'll let it breathe for a little while. I'm just not living in the 5-minute chart right now, man. Jay. Member for 4 months, brother. Thank you. Jay McPhee gifted 1 BCB membership. Thank you very, very much. We're an hour and 46 minutes. Again, it's just like the olden days where I always said I'd try to get these things wrapped up pretty quickly, and just an utter failure. For an hour and 46 minutes, we've got 1,404 likes, guys. I appreciate it, and I appreciate all the support. Geez, holy cow. Again, this makes it real hard to make videos when I let these things go so long. So I'll work on something today. If I can't get it out this afternoon, I'll get it out tomorrow morning. Talking about when the XRP bulls have happened, or when XRP's price has historically moved. Because you have a lot of people who just clearly, they don't listen to the fact that you're going to be tortured until you're not, and it gets really exciting. And then when it gets really exciting, be careful. So we'll talk all about that. But if your expectations are that something is wrong because Bitcoin's grinding and we're not going, you need to start looking at these charts. You need to stop listening to fantasy narratives out there. You need to start looking at these charts and understanding the dynamic of this market and how it has played before. Nothing's unusual. Just understand the market. There's nothing worse. Like when I look at the screen name and like lock it into my head, I say, you are low alpha loser. When I see, why isn't XRP doing anything? I'm like, oh my gosh. You haven't listened to a word. Ever. It's not going to go at the same time. We've talked about this 100 times and like overlaid XRP on here and showed it to you, that it was like 30 days later. And then in like 3 days, it went up 200%. And you're never going to get a grinding upward breakout price action for XRP. Ever. I've never seen it. Ever. Not once. It is always back into the retracements. Once it gets through, it's gone and gone and gone. Otherwise, you're going to sit there and just wait. Juan D says, best stream ever. Thanks for the mindset. Blessings. B says, XRP or ADA, which are you more bullish on? Love ya. Well, I've got way more XRP, so I got to be more bullish on XRP, but definitely bullish on both. Right? It's all the market, right? It's all the same market. Yeah, I'm not convinced XRP is going to go in a bull run by itself, and it's only going to climb with the market whenever the market goes. The question is, at the end of the day, who gains more at the end of the day, right? Don't know. But okay. Happy Friday. We made it, you guys. I want to thank you all so much for tuning in and supporting the channel. And what a long week of craziness. There's so much volatility, right? Even we got green over here, we got red over here, you got people screaming one thing, you got people cheering the other, and you got hooting and hollering, and we're back to chaos again in the market. But we try to keep our grounded in reality here, just by looking at the total market cap of crypto. One day we'll have big things moving. Yesterday we had Ethereum, which has calmed down today. The next day we'll have something else going, right? And that's just how it will always go. And the cold hard reality is we got a nice back test over here with that volatility yesterday. Boom, right back onto the top of preliminary support. And then here we go today as we get ready to head into the weekend. Successful back test. Are we ready to rip and roar some more? And it'll likely be a lot of this same stuff where you just have some stuff, it's their day or two, and then the next day it's somebody else's day or two. And that's it. Brandon Hammond says, I'm watching you from vacation in Crete. Sweet. Jay McPhee gifted a BCB membership. But brother, I thank you. I don't recall if I got you, man. Thank you, man. I think I did. Brandon, I hope you're having a great vacation, man. The average caveman says, do you believe Polkadot is undervalued? Thanks. Based on development activity, I do believe they're in developer decline. Total number of developers. This is the last question I'm answering, guys. So Polkadot has the number 2 most developers on it. So here's Bitcoin at 340, right? So you have Ethereum, Polkadot, Cosmos, Bitcoin, Solana, right? Who's dying out of the bunch? Solana, for sure. The market average is at negative 28% year over year for total and negative 24% year over year for full time. So we have a dynamic here where most things are in the red. The vast majority of them are in the red, but are we beyond the average of the market? Polkadot's at 29, knowing that the market's at 24. The thing is, right, they have a lot of devs. And so the thing I've been cross-checking is that stuff with sentiment to say, hey, are we seeing dev activity, right? And so they still do have number 2 most dev activity. Ethereum's not number 2. Ethereum's down at like number 12. Cardano is actually up at number 1, followed by Polkadot. And then you have things up there like Cosmos and Chainlink and other stuff too. My personal thoughts are the whole market's just where it's at, right? The whole market is just where it's at. A guy earlier saying my assets down 90%. The whole market is just like that. And Polkadot's no different, right? Let me pull up Polkadot. This is the number 2 most active development coin in crypto, down 91%, right? The number 1 most active coin, ADA, is down 88%. Do I think Polkadot is undervalued? Definitely. But it's just because the whole market's here right now. And the market decides to accurately assign value to assets, it seems, during the bull, and misappropriately values them during the bear as the liquidity flows out. But do I think that Polkadot, in the event that we see big bullish price action happen in this market, do I think Polkadot will be the recipient of some of it? I do. All right, last one. Michael J. Love, BC backer. You missed the Hundo super chat. I didn't miss the Hundo. The Santiago Valise? Unless there was another one, man. I don't think so, Michael. Is that what you're talking about? Okay. I don't see you saying anything. Man, happy weekend, everybody. I hope you all do well. I'll work on a video. If I don't get it out today, we'll get it out tomorrow morning. Of course, opportunity. Check out the newsletter over there on blockchainbacker.substack.com. Link is in the description of this video. And I just posted it currently right now here in the chat room. This is a subscription in here. We've been doing a lot of that development activity stuff and comparing coins in there. And then, of course, you guys can check out bcbacker.com for 40 videos from me and 11 hours of content of absolutely phenomenal, knock your socks off BCB wonderfulness. Otherwise, happy weekend, everybody. I appreciate you all so much for tuning in. What a wild week. Feels good to have this action in here. Totally volatile and crazy. But hopefully that was just a back test of preliminary support in the total market cap. And we have another good weekend because we certainly did last weekend. So I'll check in with you guys again soon. Thank you all so much for watching. If you could, please like this live stream and give it a thumbs up. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe and hit the notification bell so you could be notified of when I create new content and when I go live. As always, this is not investment advice, and I am not a financial advisor. But if you ever need a pick-me-up or a little bit of reassurance, just remember that the blockchain backers got your back. Have a good one.